What's up, guys? How are you? It's Wednesday, race show time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Um, Again, apologize in advance for my voice, but I finally actually got some answers today. I went to the allergist today. My primary care provider was like, "I can't figure out what's going on with you and your voice. You're gonna have to go see a specialist." So I did today. Apparently, I'm allergic to a lot of different things that I didn't even know about. Um, but one of them is dogs, and I actually have three dogs. So, um, I brought home a new dog 2 months ago, so that kind of just, you know, killed my voice, I guess. So the good thing is I finally got answers, and I should be starting to sound normal. Um, you know, uh, during the next podcast. But right now, you have to deal with this raspy voice of mine. Um, Before I get started and bring on my special guest, I just wanted to say that this episode is brought to you by 660 Marketing. It's that time of year to be rebranding your race team, rebranding your business, your racing business. Um, 660 Marketing handles everything from sponsorship hunting to graphic design, logo design, websites, social media management, and everything in between. So, contact 660 Marketing if your racing company needs a revamp, or you're a racer looking for sponsors, or you're a series looking for sponsors. Um, I'll be able to help you out. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest, Mike the Hitman Hill. How are you?
Good. How about you? How about you?
I'm doing good, man, except for this voice.
Right, right.
So, how are you feeling today? You're definitely coming off a high, over the weekend. Everybody's talking about your race this past weekend. How are you feeling?
I feel great. I absolutely feel good after this race this weekend. It all went well, very exciting. I mean, a lot of action. Really,
Yeah.
really feels good just because it's really haven't had any negativity come behind it. It's all been positive, positive. So,
Well, it can't all be positive, right? There's always going to be some negative,
true,
right?
true.
So, it's like yin and yang, right? There's always a good and a bad, right?
Right.
So, for those and guys, if you like this interview, please share it, like it, heart it. If you want to ask Mike any questions, please type them up in the chat, and you'll be able to ask those questions. Um, but share it everywhere. Um, for those that don't know you personally, let's start from the top. How did you get involved in this drag racing world where we just spend so much money just for fun?
Um, I mean, I've always liked fast cars since I was a kid. I mean, high school, racing and just having, like, I got my first Mustang at age 15, was given to me by my uncle, and just working on that thing every weekend, every time you get a little check and putting something different on it, and just on and on and on. Then started, eventually got out of high school and even went to the street racing deal and had to finally break away from that. Man, I've just always been into fast cars and speed and and working on that stuff, and like I said, it just kind of kept going. I finally told myself, all right, enough of the street, time to just strictly do the racetrack. And like I said, we just kept going. I mean, I built my first Mustang in probably 91.
Oh my God.
Like that. Yeah, I mean, I started working on that car. Matter of fact, it may have been 94. 94 maybe when I first built that car, because I think we brought it out in 96. It will, Blake, guy named Blake Wilder built it, and Al Moody built me a engine for it. And I mean, just started from there and just kept going up and up and up, with all the way through the Outlaw 10-5 days, even bracket raced a little bit. I wasn't a good bracket racer, but I mean, I started, I tried to here and there, so.
Yeah, so basically you pretty much raced wherever you can.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, what which track did you grow up at? Where did you spend the most time?
Man, be honest, we I grew up on a track, between here, Covington, Georgia, and a track they call and it's called Edenton, Georgia. They call it Hit Hunter's Dragway. That was where the two tracks that I grew up racing on, two smaller tracks, and they're actually not open at the moment. But Covington's been gone, but Edison still opens here and there. But those are the two tracks I grew up on and started, just like I said, doing the bracket racing, or go down there and do grudge racing with guys, and then it was Macon, which used to be Twiggs County, Georgia.
Mhm.
We call it Middle Georgia Motorsport Park. Now, those three tracks there were where I say I really first started. Then we kind of expanded to the Carolina dragways, the bigger tracks and stuff, and just kept going.
Yeah, that's funny. Like same way with me. I started in a very small track in New Jersey, called Island Dragway.
Hmm.
Um, very rinky-dinky track. Till this day, it's still open and it still looks the same as it did, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever. It's still, they don't have any Jersey walls. It's still, you know, the
Guardrail.
metal, yeah, the metal guardrails. Um, but every time I go there, I just reminisce, you know what I mean, of all the good times when I was a kid and
Right,
my younger days and stuff.
right.
Um, so, you know, everybody knows you as like a promoter and a tuner, but you used to drive a lot of different cars and this and that. So tell us a little bit about that, like all the cars you drove and maybe some of your favorite ones.
Yeah, I would definitely say I was more of a racer first and than a tuner. And like I said, that my first Mustang I built was a car I bought brand new in a 1987 Mustang, and I took that car and drove it through after high school, through the years, and then I started working on it, and Blake built it, and we ran that car. And back when we first started, it was called Super Street, and I think
Yeah,
Almuda built me a 454-inch small block Ford, and with Liberty 5 speed and stuff in it, and then went to the big block in it, and then comes the 10.5 stuff, putting the bigger tire on it. And like I said, I just that car, I went from the 87 Mustang to a 98 Mustang, and I would build and sell, like, I don't know, some reason every time I built a car, it just seemed like keep it a year or two, and I'd sell it. I went from the 87 to a 98, then from the 98 Mustang, I went to the 2000 or 2002 body. And actually, it's owned by a good friend of mine. It's still out there called, got owns called the Memphis Gangster, which he's done a lot of work to it and
right.
cars, and sold that car and built another car, 2005, that I ran for in Outlaw 10.5, and kind of went from there. When Outlaw 10.5 kind of died off, I kind of went toward the pro mod scene a little bit, and I ran a lot of pro mod stuff. You know, I ran I ran some ADRL stuff with the 10.5 car.
Nice,
Even the Corvette we ran ADRL with, and actually won the championship ADRL a couple of years.
nice,
And then, but like I said, I ran some pro mod stuff in 2007, 8, 9. Like all the way probably up through 2012, I ran some pro mod stuff. Not actually did my own big pro mod race. I did like a $90,000 pro mod race in Carolina Dragway back in 2008, and that thing was huge. And I got runner up, and I had the blue Iceman GTO back then, and
nice,
like what I did. And then I built Doug Klein, a guy in Pennsylvania, Precision Chassis, built me a 1969 Camaro in 2010 or 11. I think I kept it 2 years. I dread to the day that I sold that car, because that was a beautiful car. I mean, still beautiful, still one of the most prettiest pro mod cars I think I ever could have seen. And
yeah,
I kept it, but really nice car. And I love pro mod. I love pro mod to death. It's just a little bit more expensive than I can probably do myself right now. But
yeah, yeah. No, I totally understand. It's funny you mentioned Precision Chassis. That's almost near where my parents live. So that's kind of the area I grew up before I moved to the DMV. But yeah, so like Do you still drive, or have you put that off to the side? Do you miss it? You know,
I'll jump in and I'd say I probably jump in and drive once or twice a year. I call it shaking the dust off me once or twice a year. And like sometimes a good friend of mine, George William, his son, and they got a couple cars, and sometimes Scoot, the son, can't make it down, and for a test session, and I may jump in and drive, and honestly, like that suits me. That little bit of time in the seat suits me fine. I don't care. I don't care to drive on a regular now. I kind of like where I'm at now, helping other people with their cars. And like one of the guys that used to help me when I raced, he always helped me. Now he's the driver of a lot of these cars. So now I get to stand behind him and help him. So, and we call him nephew. So I mean, it's actually fun, and and I get the same feeling if he wins. To me, it's the same feeling as I was in the seat. So
that's awesome. Cool. So you also tune, right? Everybody knows that you tune some of the fastest cars is probably in the country, right? Um, what made you get involved with that? Like, how did that come about? Um, just talk a little bit about that, and like, what's the tuning game like? You know what I mean? Like, what's your strategy?
I mean, that was something I didn't ask for. 'Cause, I mean, I used to tune my own stuff, which I mean, I was always around good people that I learned a lot from. The Shannon Jenkins and the Brandon Switzers, and Gene Fulton. Me and him really close, and even some of the chassis guys, I was real close with a lot of good people that I tuned all my cars, but if I ever had questions, they were always just a
Right.
phone call away. And like I said, and when I kind of I started having other people ask me like, man, we help me with my car, and here and there. And then I started just, sometimes I would be racing, but then I had people come and I was still helping them with their car. And it just kind of trended from there. More and more people just started asking, would I tune on their car? Would I work on them? And like I said, man, Shannon always taught me, like, you never stop learning. And that's what it's been. It's still, I'm still learning, even though I've been doing it for a while. I'm still learning, myself, every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, it's crazy because also you kind of have to still be a student of the game because technology is always changing. You know what I mean? There's always a new part or a new electronic or whatever to make
Ab-
these cars go faster, right?
Absolutely.
Um, so you tune a lot of nitrous cars. Do you do anything else? Do you tune turbo cars or anything
Just
like that?
no, just nitrous, just nitrous.
Nice. Um, what about some of the cars you tune currently? Like which cars do you tune currently? Like what are the names of the cars?
Like we run this 4.84 stuff called Sweetness. We got a car called Sweetness that
We lost him. We probably lost him to a phone call. So he'll probably be back in a couple minutes, guys. Um, just if you have any questions for Mike, again, type them up in the chat, and we'll get your questions to him. I think he's coming back. We'll see. That's usually what happens with the iPhones. It's kind of like you can't like turn the call off or whatever. I can do it on my Droid, but I don't know about iPhone. And I know don't make fun of me because I have a Droid. Okay, I'm poor. But yeah, guys, was anybody out there um watch Mike Hill's last race? Let me know what you thought. I know there was a lot of coverage on YouTube and things like that. Also, World Cup Finals was also going on. Have some weird opinions about that. It's a weird race for sure. Just a lot of breakage and a lot of breakage and a lot of oil downs, crashes, and stuff like that. So let me know what your opinions are on that while Mike hops back on. There we go. We got him back.
Yeah, I had to come back. I don't know, phone. Somebody called. I thought I put it on where do not disturb, but I guess not. So.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it with an iPhone. If
Right.
anybody knows, please type it in the chat how to
Yeah.
put it do not disturb. But I really don't know. Like I've had other people on the podcast, and same thing happened, with
Right.
because of iPhone or whatever. So yeah, you were talking about sweetness.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, I got a couple cars that I tuned sweetness and I used to tune. I don't know if y'all seen the car Random Moss we ran last year at my year finale that won the Extreme 28. I got several cars. We got like some G body cars I tune on called Juice, Jawbreaker. I tune on a lot of George Williams stuff, and which he hadn't really raced much this year. He's tending with some business stuff. You know, we got that car called Copperhead, the '69 Camaro. George got a Pro Mark Corvette, a couple cars we work on, and I got several customers that I help here and there. I'm actually like trying to back away from it and put more into the promotional side of it now. It's just because it's kind of getting pretty stressful to try to do tuning and the promotional stuff that I'm doing, especially now that I started this series. It's kind of getting stressful, so trying to back
right.
away a little bit of it.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand how much back end work goes into, you know, running your own races, promoting your own races. It's like it's brutal. I have close friends that do it up here, so I know like what you go through. Um, it's a lot of work. What got you into, promoting your own races and throwing your own races?
Um, George Howard. I always refer that to George Howard. Um, George Howard was passed years ago, but man, he was probably one of the best promoters in the world. George was. I don't know if people. I'm sure a lot of people know him. He used to be Huntsville, Alabama, Montgomery. He was the first person I ever knew that used to do these $1 million bracket races. And back when we were doing the 10-5 stuff, I ran into George at a truck sale one day, and I really wasn't doing my own races. And George sat down with me. He said, "Mike, I want to do the biggest outlaw 10-5 race ever done." And back we was racing for $3,000, $5,000 was top dollar at the time. He said,
Right,
"I do the biggest outlaw 10-5 race." And we got together and did a $20,000 to win outlaw 10-5 race in Huntsville, Alabama, and it was huge. I mean, it was huge. And George actually was that person that taught me how to separate, like, racing and promotions. And, he like, Mike, he always told me, like, Mike, it's your job to get these people to the track. Once you get them to the track, I take over. You go back to be a racer. And he
right,
taught me to be, to separate it too, so I give
nice,
credit to him.
cool.
Yeah,
Um, so you've been throwing your own races for years, years now. But what made you start? Was this the first year of the points series?
absolutely.
So what made you start that?
I tried a point series back in maybe 2017, 18, and it was some of these same 4.84 small block boost cars, but it was called limited 28s. And Shannon Young won that year. I don't know. I think it was 2017. I tried it, but we just I couldn't grab a hold to it and get enough participation at the time, because I don't know if it was the rules I had at the time, but it just didn't go like I wanted, and I kind of backed off it a little bit, and then and rethought the process and started back off again. We did like a 4-car shootout back a couple of years ago with Marquise Haddon and the John Gotti Camaro and Mike Starvino was out of Florida. We did a 4-car shootout for 25 grand in Valdosta. That's the one that really struck a fire, and they're like, man, we might need to get back on this 40/40 deal. And like I said, we were doing it. We would do this one big one a year, and I had I had a lot of racers that were people were building cars for this 40/40 deal, and even the small block boost cars, and a couple of guys told me, said, Mike, man, it's kind of tough that we spending a lot of money to race with you at the end of the year, but then we got to race against 959s and
Right.
bigger motors, during the year. And they were like, man, it'd be nice if we had some type of series that we could plan ahead. We know we got 5 or 6 races before we get to the year finale and do a point system. And it kind of, I agreed with him. I kind of understood it. I was like, man, if I don't do something, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna probably lose some of these cars because you can't expect a person to spend that kind of money for one race a year. So
Right.
so we sat down and we kind of started with the points championship this year, and it went pretty well. It was pretty amazing that we actually got sponsors. We got sponsors came on board the first year and didn't really even have much to present. And we got 5 races in. That were really nice. I mean, we ain't gonna sit here and say we had 25, 32 cars every race, but I mean, most races we had 15, 12, 15, 16 good cars that made a nice show. And it just all led into my year-end finale that was, turned out to be huge, but now we got more cars than got built, and I think the points deal will be really even bigger for 2025.
Yeah. Um, to believe it or not, you say you don't get a lot of cars, but 2024, a lot of promoters and races have been struggling with car count. And I think that's a great car count, to be honest. So props to you for making that happen, consecutively, at all your races and stuff.
Yeah.
For those that might not know the rule set, can you explain a little bit about that? What the rule sets are for, the 4.84 class.
Uh, well, like I said, it used to be all nitrous car. Once upon a time, it was all nitrous when we first started this over again. And it was just 4840, which means, the bore space. When you actually
Right.
take dial caliper and measure between the two head studs, it'll measure 4.840. And we actually got a deck height rule on our stuff. We got together as a group of racers, came up with a deck height rule, transmission rule. And what I think the unique thing about our deal is, like, our cars, they can be carbon fiber bodies or glass bodies, but they have to look like real cars. They have to be stock appearing. And I think that's what makes it so appealing. But they're also fast. I mean, we started this deal, and, like, normally a nice 4840 was a good 706, and now we got, like, the Pat Muses, the Rear Morrison, Gene Fultons, and the Charlie Buck when he's retired now. But we've got major engine builders now that's participating, building custom motors for this class right here, and that, to me, that says a lot. That they were even willing to do it. So.
Right.
But like I said, it's 40 bore space, and then we allow the small block boosted guys to come race with us. They have to kind of run on the turbo. You got to be stock bore space, small block, single turbo or pro charger. And we had actually, you could actually run a roots blower, but we never had a roots blower to come race with us. And we're over the winter now. We got to sit down and probably adjust. I'm sure we'll adjust some rules, but I mean, so far it's been pretty good with the rules, and everybody seemed to be pretty tight.
Yeah, I would agree. It was the whole year I've been following your series the whole year. One of my friends, Mike Dent, runs in your series, so I follow his stuff a lot. So it's been some really tight racing all year, at all your events. And man, you got some, in that 484 class, there are some really fast cars in that
Right.
class.
Right.
Yeah.
But man,
For the cubic inches that they're running with, they're pushing those cars to the limits for
right.
sure. Um, so what makes you different than other promoters? Like, why is your series so successful, you think? Like, what's your secret sauce to success?
Uh, I'm not sure. I think I built a big following over the years, though. Like racing myself, and I built a following over so many years. But, like, I just try to stand on what I say I'm gonna do. That's my main thing. Is if I say, if I advertise something, that's what I want to give my fans and give the people that's coming to support me. And I think that's the main ingredient to it. Like, I do see a lot of promoters, and I don't want to talk about anybody, but you sit there and read the flyer, and they put this big money deal on the flyer, and you get to the racetrack, it don't happen, or those, you know, those cars that they advertise and or that group of that class, even that class that they advertise, don't even get there and race. So I just I think that detours a lot of people, and I try to make sure I'm not one of those people. I try to, like I said, if I advertise something, I try to provide, So
So basically just be genuine and be upfront with what you're gonna do and just basically, stick to your word, right?
right, absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome. Um, was there any teams that surprised you in your series this year? Like that maybe, maybe a new team or maybe a team that um like a car that maybe you thought, man, like man, they really showed up and showed out this year and kind of came out of the weeds out of nowhere.
Absolutely. And I'd probably have to give that to Mike Dent. I mean, to be honest, Mike came out with that Camaro this year, the NFW Camaro. He started, and at the beginning of the year, I think they had some struggles and tiptoed through the year. And man, when next thing you seen that, we seen, I think in August at Darlington maybe, is when I realized they got a hold of that car. It's fast. I said,
Yeah.
fast now. And no, maybe it was June at Jamie's race at the Jamie's race in Orangeburg. I said, man, this car's gotten fast. And I was like, they kept grinding. They made a move, and that car, they ended up almost won the championship.
Right.
Very, very, very close to winning the championship. And I give much prop to Mike. He stuck with it, man. He loves it. He's fun. He's fun. He supports it, man. He's gonna almost be one of the first ones through the gate.
He said we got control in Orangeburg. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes it just takes dedication. And I think Mike definitely committed to the series, always put his best foot forward towards your series. He made all the events, I believe. It was just very consistent. And that's what you need in a good program. It's just consistency and hard work.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
Mike was at Darlington, and first time I was seeing this, and I like they hung a rod out of the motor, and it was, I guess it come through the side of the fender, and I'm like, and for him to turn around, I think he made it. He made it from that was middle of August, and then he turned around and made the last points race, which was 1st of October. I mean, it showed a lot of dedication that he had to the series and the class and trying to be a part of it. And even to bring 2 cars to the finale, just got to highly appreciate that from him.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So what are the plans for 2025? Can you spill any beans yet or
Just to be honestly, just to be better than we were 2025. 2024. I want to go after some more sponsors. I mean, we had good people on board. But it was like I said, we had M&M Transmission, we had Mensa Motorsports, H&H Body Shop, Reese Brothers Race Cars, and Pro Stock Gordo. He came on board and helped us too. And like I said, man, people came on board and helped us, and we didn't have a thing. And this year, I want to go harder at our sponsorship package. I think we paid out like $15,000 to our points championship this year on the first year. And I thought that was pretty good. And I want to kind of just continue to get that bigger and bigger. I want to give these guys something bigger and bigger to shoot for every single year if I can.
nice, nice. We have a question. What do you all think about the pass Illuminati was about to put down before it took flight? I mean, that it looked like he was on a mission. You know what I mean? Not, um, I think once they get that car figured out, that car is going to be big trouble for everybody.
That car was on a mission. That
Yeah,
car, I had watched that car probably 2-3 weeks prior to my year-end finale race at Donald's race, and you can see a big difference in just those 2 events of that car. And that car was on a mission, and I think that's why it kind of maybe caught me off surprise, because I was like, when I seen it, I said, man, she's gone. It's on. And
right.
they caught the wheelie that far out. I said, they are really getting with it, man. Ryan DJ's doing a hell of a job with that deal. So
Yeah, they're such great guys for the game. They love the sport a lot. They're always at the racetrack. Um, they're just a great group of guys that support the game and support. They try to support everybody, and man, they're smart. They're
Oh, no
smart
doubt,
guys.
no doubt about
Yeah. So how do you balance everything?
it.
Like, you know, you do all this stuff, and I'm sure you do stuff that people don't even know, right? So, like, how do you balance the work life and the personal life?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, because it's stressful, and and I always tell people, I said racing can be stressful already, and in the promotion and stuff, because like I said, man, we got a lot of other promoters out here. You got other events that happen, and you can't stop it. I mean, you know, it's kind of spread out now. We got a lot of promoters in the game now, and you just gotta. I try not to focus on what nobody else doing. I try to just focus on my stuff, and block it out. Not I even have people at work like, well, this person didn't come to the show. They got an event over here. I like, man, I don't care. I gotta concentrate on me and mine, what I got going on over here, and that's just my way of going, man. Just like I said, focus on my stuff. Think about the people that's coming to support me, and just like I said, that's the way I do it.
Awesome. Yeah. How do you feel about the Ryan G situation and Salty Bitch?
Uh I mean, I think it's just part of the game. I mean, I've been there. I've been there myself, and like I said, man, I mean, people, everybody have to make decisions at time, and you hate to see it because it was a hellacious strong team.
Oh yeah.
Super fast, super strong, and I don't see it changing. I don't see it changing, and that from what I'm looking at, I don't see no loss from what I'm seeing. I don't see no loss for anyone. I mean, because I'm continuing I believe each and every one of them will continue to be a big part of what we're doing.
Yeah.
484, all the owner's going to continue to go. Ricky's going to continue to drive. And I'm sure Ryan's going to continue to tune some of the fastest 440 cars and other cars in the world. So I mean, I
Yeah.
don't it's just a shake up, and it's creating a lot of talk and controversy. And the good thing about it, I guess, it's all people talking about 440 to me. That's where I look at it. It's put so much talk about 440 and this stuff, so it's crazy. But I mean,
Yeah.
man, they supported me. All those guys supported me and helped me. You know, like I told Steve and the owner, man, I said, thank you for always, they've always been there for me and my events, so I truly appreciate that out of them, and just wish the best for all of them.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. It happens all the time. Like even in the NHRA national level, you always have like crew chiefs going into this team or drivers going to this team, and there's always shakeups. And that's what people don't understand is um, at the end of the day, the owner of the team is going to do what he or she thinks is best for that team. But
Mm,
this stuff happens all the time. At
absolutely.
the end of the day, sometimes it's just business. It doesn't mean, um, you know, they have beef or whatever. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just a business decision that they make. I think we had another question. So is Justin Swasham buying Salty B or are they joining his team? I don't think Justin announced what is going on there. So
Well,
uh,
they didn't buy it. They have, from my understanding, they're joining. The owner and Justin is pretty much joining forces, you know, on this deal. And I'm not sure I've heard rumors of who's supposed to be driving, but I think they're just joining forces. Swanson is bringing he's bringing his sponsor deal into it, and I mean, like I said, even that part of it, I call him Little Country.
yeah,
Justin's got a huge following. That can't that can only help.
yeah,
In my opinion, it's just going to bring more eyes to us, and what we're doing. So, I mean, I can't look at it in no other way. I definitely can't see it in a negative way. And like I said, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. Like obviously it sucks for Ryan G in that regard, but again, like you said, he has other cars to tune. But Justin right now, or Low Country, he's basically almost the, you know, obviously he's a young guy. He has a lot more years ahead of him. But he's almost like the John Force or the Doug Coletta of the Grudge world, where he's smart in the sense of he treats his program as a business.
Right,
And every car he has is for a different purpose and a different business move in the game. He's super intelligent for how young he is,
right,
and how to maneuver. I don't know these puzzle pieces to make everything work for him in a business sense, if that makes sense.
right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, we have another question. Who is winning next year's championship, Boost or Nitrous?
Nitrous. I mean, I'd say nitrous. I mean, we got some fast boosted combos coming though. And I think like nitrous has always showed like nitrous won most all the races this year. But we at the same token, I know when we got the boosted a boosted car that comes with purpose once a purpose built boosted car comes, that's a game changer. You know, So, and we know it's coming. We just gotta try to keep it maintained where the cars are close. That's what we got to do now.
To be honest, and who knows what the future holds for me personally, but when you came out with your point series, um, and the little small block boost versus 4.84, I was kind of mad at myself that I didn't stay small block boost.
Hmm.
Um, because like you said, I think if somebody does come out with a purpose built car just for your series and it's boosted, I think um they'll make a big impact for
Right,
sure. Will they win the championship? I don't know. And you don't know that either. But I think a lot of the boosted cars that are competing in your series weren't originally built for your series.
Abs-
So sometimes it's hard for them to keep up. You know what I
right.
mean? So um what do you like better, class racing or grudge racing?
Ah, I like both. I like both, but I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm if I was able to and could afford it, Pro Mod, I'd probably be all over it. I just love nitrous Pro Mod. That's probably one of my favorite classes. But I mean, this no time 40/40 stuff. That'd probably be my next choice because it's a fun class. It was needed in the no time world, and even like even even the shootout that we're doing still creates good grudge racing during the same weekend.
Right.
Get all these guys and at one place, through the shootout, but it turns out they'll end up grudging on Friday or grudge during the shootout, or even they lose in the shootout, they turn around and grudge each other. It's just at the end of the day, it's creating good action for the no time world, and it's really exciting. And the year finale was really, really excited about that because like some of our guys that lost first round, they went and tapped other races on the shoulder, like, "Hey man, we both out. Let's get to it." And
Right.
it was fun, and it was really fun.
That's honestly something I do if I lose early. I'll tap somebody on the shoulder, be like, "Hey, you wanna do something?" Because I don't want to go home. You know what I mean? I want to race. So, and try to win some money that way. But I guess how is grudge racing or the no time world um different now than it was back then?
Uh, it's very different. I think it's more the people involved. I mean, I think back in the day it used to be a lot more simple to get a grudge race. Um, I mean, and the reason I say that I grew up watching the older guys like the HD, and the Melvins and the guys that used to race back in the day, and those guys like I watched these guys race for huge pots and never even have to put up the money. Just they would commit to the money. If it was 20 grand, whatever, they would get to the track and really not have to pay it. I mean, put it up. But after as soon as the race was over, one side went and paid the other. And it ain't like that now. It's tricky. It's a lot more trickery in it. It's a lot more, lot more controversial. And it's just not as simple. So that's the reason I kind of concentrate a lot on the shootouts, and, I love both, but me and Dog always say we always treat the grudge race as a bonus, to the fans.
Yeah, I think the shootouts is yeah, like people love big money grudge races, when especially when two guys do what like Fletcher Cox and Low Country did, right?
Right,
But I think in my opinion, like the shootouts is what uh what brings the fans, I guess you can say.
right. I have to, me as a promoter, I have to kind of guarantee my fans, some type of action, and that's what we kind of try not to get caught up in is like advertise. I love to advertise a grudge race, but I don't want to base a whole event around a grudge race because it ain't guaranteed to happen.
Right.
98% of the time, the shootout's gonna happen unless it rains or just nobody shows. So I try to that's when I kind of concentrate more to shootouts and create the grudge race just be a bonus. Like I say, I like both, and like we said, they kind of complement one another. If you can get them all done at the same event.
Right. Right. Um, Jonathan Way asked, "Are you going to try to raise the pot from 75,000 to 100,000 next year?"
It'll probably go up regardless, but like me and the South Georgia Motor Park owner talked about that today. Like we don't want to go up too high too fast, and the reason is I'm trying to preserve this class to where to live. You know, I could easily go up and advertise 100 grand and probably make it happen, but I don't want to go 100 grand and then the following year, if people next thing I got to come back down to 60 grand or 50 grand. I
Right.
want to take it up just a little bit every year, and hopefully I preserve it, a few more years and keep these cars around. So I'm gonna probably, like we talked about today, we're gonna kind of stick around this 75 until we need to go up. Feel like we need to go up a little bit.
Yeah, I think when you're dealing with that kind of money, up there, like you know, I don't think 25 grand or whatever is going to make a huge difference. You know, it's still 75,000 or 70,000 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you'll still get your car counts.
Well, we like we talked about. I watched Radio vs. World years ago. Even though Radio vs. World is back and it's hot now, but like it was going up fast every year. From 20, 30, 40, 50, and it went up to 100 grand, and then the next thing you know, they were back to trying to have an event for 20,000 to win, and nobody was showing up.
Yeah,
I'm like, nah, I'd rather just kind of go a little bit at a time, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully I can preserve the class.
nice. Jared Rona said, Mike is the real deal, smartest promoter in the no time game.
Thank you.
um, so what do you do for fun when you're not racing or at the racetrack?
Uh, Probably more with my daughter more than anything. I try to hang out with my daughter, and well, when I'm not doing stuff like that, family, I don't get to do a whole lot of traveling and going different places and doing a lot of stuff, but that's it.
Nice. Nice. Um, before we sign off, did you want to shout out anybody, anybody that helped you this year, things like that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I try not to, like I said, I always try not to call too many names because people like, I don't like want anybody to say you forgot me. So I like to tell everybody that supported us, in any type of way, whether it was like I said, simply sharing the flyer if you came to the events, and even if you told a friend, I just like to tell everybody thank you, and like I said, man, if you missed this year's year-end finale, the 2024 year-end finale, you better go ahead and make plans to be at the 2025 one because we definitely plan on it being bigger and a greater event every single year. So and that's what we do every year.
Well, which was your favorite track to go to this year? Was it SGMP?
I'd have to say SGMP.
Okay.
That
What?
was probably the most fun. It was the most fun we've had all year long, and the surface was killer.
Yeah, I heard the new owner has that surface. Well, obviously he has a prep guy, but I heard that they're doing really good things down there.
Well, and it's because he's there all the time. I mean, not, me and the previous owner, we're real close, but he had two tracks, and he wasn't there to focus on that particular track like the new owner is now. And Raul is just I mean, he's into it, man. He works on that place. I mean, he's at the gate, he's at the start line, he's working the staging lanes, and like I said, it's a complete different place now. And he's promoting that place, so it helps me as a promoter too going into it. Because he's got a lot of big things happening before I get there, versus years ago. He used to kind of just it was Donald's races and just my races, and I think it all just playing a big part of making everybody's stuff successful now. So.
Awesome. So when do you? I know everybody's probably really antsy. When do you plan to release the 2025 schedule?
I just finished my schedule today, and I gotta finalize the 4.84 points championship schedule. Hopefully here within the next week or so, I'll have it done too. But I mean, I'll tell you, the first 4.84 points race will be at Carolina Dragway March 1st. That's where we're gonna kick off at.
There you go, guys. You heard it first here on the race show.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike, for coming on. I know you're a busy guy, and this was great to just get to know you as a promoter, as a tuner, and for those that didn't know you, you've been an OG of the game for a long time. Cool,
Yep.
man.
No, I have, I have like people like, what's up, Unc? What's up, OG? And I have to, I like it is what it is. But I mean, like I said, I treat it as it's respect. To me, I look at it as respect. And a lot of people do respect me for, and I have a videographer always asks, man, Unc, how you stay so relevant in this game so long? And he always asks me that every time he see me, and I'm like, man, just keep driving, man. You ain't never too old to stop doing what you love, so.
Yeah, and like we were saying before, in the beginning of the show, you just got to be genuine, I think, and a lot of people, I think, would agree with me in saying like you're a really genuine person. You really care about your racers, your fans, the tracks you work with, your sponsors, things like that.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for everybody for tuning in. We will see you not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. And have a good night.